The American dream that is sold to us, to me, I thought the American dream, like as soon as I came to America, things are going to be easy, everything was going to be smooth. And that's farthest from the truth. In my own experience is life has been very difficult for me here in the US. It has been very different from what I thought that it was going to be. Right now, what I'm struggling with is trying to figure out where that American dream, how long does it take for someone to achieve it? What is it? What does it look like? I'm yet to find it.
Here's what I believe about the American dream. Is it fact or fiction? The American dream, it's a fact. What it do, YouTube? It's your man, G. Lewis. Welcome back to the Sipp. And for all my loyal subscribers who've been staying with me through my inconsistency of uploading new videos, I love that and I appreciate that. I'm gonna get straight to it. This video is titled, The American Dream, Fact or Fiction. The reason I decided to do this video is based off a video that I watched from an African who has migrated to America and their journey with the American dream. But before I get to that, I want to deal with that word, the American dream. Now, the American dream has been around since 1776. When the writing of the Constitution, they included all men were created equal with the inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A lot of us have taken that line and equate that to wealth and prosperity. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness is not the same as a mansion, a Bentley, and racks on racks on racks. But in modern day society, we have equated the American dream to meaning wealth and prosperity. And this African came here with that understanding that if they worked hard, got an education, they somehow will move up the financial, social ladder in this country. Now it happens for some, but not all. People come here and they think, oh man, I land in America, the land of milk and honey. Wealth and prosperity will be waiting for me on the shores of America. Soon as I step off that plane, I'll be walking across streets that are paved with gold. Nah, that's not the case. And it's not the case on a lot of different levels, but in particular for people who look like me from different parts of the world, they get here and there's a disconnect. And what is going on with this lady is that she come here with the understanding that if she did those things, got an education, worked hard, kept out of the way of the law, she would be okay raising her kids, giving them the best things, the best education, and provide for them the things that she didn't have in her country growing up, which is what she said. But she woke up and found out that that ain't really the case. As somebody left in her comment section, as I was reading down through the comments, that basically she effed around and found out. Now, this person who wrote that comment has ancestral ties to America as I do. Her comments were basically, you all come here from the continent of Africa and you do not come here and reach out and communicate with people who have been here, who have ancestors, who have been here dealing with this culture and this government since its inception. So by you choosing not to come to us and ask us any questions, you basically come here and separate yourself and you F around and you found out. That was harsh. Now, was she right in some things that she said? Yeah. And the reason I say that is because when I was in the military, I knew of some immigrants who come here who look like me from different parts of the world. They have expressed some of those same ideologies that this person is speaking on in the comment section. I've had people tell me that Black Americans, want food stamps and this, that, and the third. They have basically bought into the negative stereotypes of foundational Black Americans, for a lack of a better word, that's been used a lot. And by buying into that white supremacist narrative, they have chose to see us in a different light and for the most part, shun themselves from assimilating with us and our culture. I can't blame them because If you're fed an image over and over and over and over again through music, media, messages, books, you can't help but to have that ingrained into your subconscious, and it becomes a part of who you know or who you see others as they navigate and move through the world. That's why the media is such a strong, powerful thing. Now, getting back to this young lady, she was sitting in her car when she was making this video, and you could look at her. She was tired. She was depressed. She said she was tired. She said she came here and for the pursuit of happiness through the American dream. She is working 2 jobs, trying to raise 2 boys on her own. She didn't mention the father, what his origins were, but she said she was raising these boys on her own. And now what is starting to happen, they're coming up in age and there's starting to be a clash of cultures at the house. She wants the kids to come up under traditions that she grew up under on the continent of Africa. These kids, however, have their own opinions because they are, for all intents purposes, American kids growing up in American culture and everything that comes with it, good or bad. The technology, the music, the books, the streaming platforms, all that stuff, that is what they know. And that's what they embrace and they flock to. And she's finding it hard because she's trying to pull them away from that. And she says it's very difficult because, you know, they're giving her the smoke and she don't know how to handle that. I get that. But you can't expect to come to America and not have your kids be influenced by American culture, specifically kids that are born in America. She was influenced by American culture through whatever medium that she was entertained by, whether it was movies, books, music. So how can you expect your kids who were birthed into this culture and society to somehow gravitate to a culture that they've never experienced and they know nothing of except through stories that you tell them? Hell, it's hard enough for parents who look like me to raise their kids in this country and try to steer them from a lot of the things that they don't want them to be necessarily involved in. I feel some empathy for this lady because she's really going through it. You can see when she was sitting in her car, she was at her wit's end. And the video was entitled, "I'm Tired." It said everything. And there was another comment that I read that someone who also can identify with her plight because they are African and they moved to America pursuing the American dream. And this person had some nuggets of information to pass on to her. The person passed on an article and a link to an African professor who is a professor at a university in America. And this particular message that she left seems to me that the professor is basically saying that African immigrants who come here and raise children, whether they were birthed here or they came here at such a young age that they have no recollection of Africa, those parents have a difficult time raising kids in this society. The parents have bought into the narrative that if you work hard, get an education, steer away from law enforcement, you can move up financially, socially in this country. And her kids, or African kids, may have a slightly different look on the same exact situation in the household because those kids are going to school with kids who are kids of American culture. To be more blunt, basically the professor was saying that black kids from African immigrant parents face racism or bigotry and biases in this country, and the parents for the most part do not know this because in their culture and traditions, I'm just giving you what this professor said, that the kids are supposed to be seen and not heard. Now, how many of you who are foundational American blacks have heard the same thing growing up? Kids are supposed to be seen and not heard. Yeah, I've heard it many times. Why you don't get your... Yeah, but they have that same understanding, but it's deeply rooted and they live by that. According to this professor, those kids of African immigrant parents will not share their experiences outside of the household with the parents. And so what she is saying, that professor, is that there's a clash going on inside the household because the parents see America through the prism of work hard, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, everything's gonna be all right. The kids, on the other hand, saying, we're going to school, we're on the same playgrounds with these kids, and we are getting taunted and called different names. Kids are gonna say and do ignorant things. Those kids with African parents are experiencing the American dream totally different in a lot of households from what their parents are experiencing the American dream. I don't know if I make sense with that, but leave a comment in the comment section if you understand what I mean by that. With all that being said, here's what I believe about the American dream. Is it fact or fiction? The American dream, it's a false narrative. Why? Because the ideology and the concept of the American dream as it pertains to modern day America is about mansions, Bentleys, millions, or aspiring to have a nice home, nice car, no debt, money in the bank, kids are in college, and they're pursuing their dreams. And for the most part, that is not the case for many in this country. Because if it was, we wouldn't have as much poverty as we have. And people will say, well, you're having poverty because people don't want to work. There's jobs out there. But how many of those jobs are good paying jobs? Well, if they go to school and they get a college degree, then they wouldn't have to worry about taking low paying jobs. But how many people have college degrees and they are taking jobs at McDonald's or blue collar jobs? Well, if they didn't major in getting bachelor's degrees in culture and arts, then that degree would mean more. If they got engineering degree, there's always going to be people who's going to have pushback. So I'm just going to tell you, it don't matter what you think. That's my opinion. The American dream as it pertains to modern day America is a falsehood. The only people that the American dream, it seems to be working for is the elite, the 1%, the billionaire status, the people who have the most money in this country, and nowadays who have an ear to legislation and that they can influence the outcome on laws that are being written. I'm clear on what I'm saying with that. So with the 1%, the American dream is alive and thriving. But for the average American, the 99%, not so much. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down in the comment box. Get on this one. Let's make this a trending topic because it needs to be spoken upon, because too many people have bought into the lies about this so-called American dream. The American dream for some is a nightmare for many. Until my next video, I'm G. Lewis. God bless. Take care of yourself and take care of your people.